and we heard a terrible rumble and a bang. Between the ages of 16 and 19, I got into my fair share of trouble, car trouble, on-road, off-road, on motorcycles, on four-wheelers, pretty much in every car I ever drove. And my friends and I kind of came to the understanding that you just don't buy a car from me after I've owned it, because those 4, 5, 6 years were pretty rough on cars. I had 21 cars in 22 years of driving. One of those best worst cars was the 1994 Probe GT. So this was a 6-cylinder manual transmission. My first car had to be a manual. Front wheel drive, a terrible, wonderful car. This particular story starts off with me in my 17s, 18s, somewhere in there, where I was coming home after school, parked the car out front in front of mom and dad's house, took the key with me, pulled the emergency brake, put it in gear to make sure, like every good car guy would, the car's not going anywhere, right? Well, it didn't until I got to the very top of the stairs in my parents' house, and my sister says, "Matt, your car." And that was all she said. She didn't say what happened to it. She didn't mention anything else about it. She just said, "Matt, your car." And I said, "My car what?" And she said, "Your car is rolling down the hill." And I immediately book it back down the stairs, and I look, and the car's gone. And it ended up rolling down the hill about 500 or 600 feet into one of our neighbors' houses, to which there were 2 garage doors and a walk-through door in between. Kind of shifted the foundation of that a bit. I wish that were the only instance in which I had a car hit someone else's house. So 2 years later, I purchased a 1994 Mustang GT and a multicolored paint job that was not the 96 Mistachrome or Mystic paint that Ford actually produced, but mine was a knockoff, a cheap knockoff out of it. And so someone in Louisiana worked for a popular auto parts dealer and got his hands on some of this paint and painted this entire car in this color that shifted to about 5 different colors, 6 different colors, between a dark hunter green, a purple, a pink, a tan. It was beautiful. I actually purchased that car walking through a $3 cafe parking lot one night. Saw it, the rain, mist had fallen on it perfectly, little beads were on it, and it was the most beautiful Mustang I had ever seen in my life. And initially, in the dark, I thought that it was the Mystic Cobra, but which I had always coveted. And so I walk into the $3 cafe. A buddy of mine worked there, and I said, "I've got to know whose Mustang that is. Surely they work here, or you know the customer that owns this car. Whose car is that?" And he goes, "That's mine." I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. I want that car. I will buy that car." And he's like, "Well, I just got it 2 weeks ago." And I said, "Well, I want that car and I'll buy it from you. So tell me what you paid for it and I'll give it to you here 2 weeks later." And so we worked out a deal. And about 3 weeks later, I was over at a buddy's house, parked in his driveway. And we were downstairs. This is going to date me, but I think we were playing N64. And we heard a terrible rumble and a bang. We walked outside into the driveway and saw that my basically new to me Mustang had wrecked into his parents' front porch and knocking the brick support about 45 degrees clockwise, waking pretty much the whole neighborhood up, but additionally his parents. 2 years, 2 cars, 2 houses, not any of it good. With the first time, you assume by putting it in gear, and I got to a point where I put it in reverse because I thought, okay, well, there's no way this will skip over. Pull the brake, even turn the wheels some. And with the Probe, the wheels were turned enough that it went across the yard and down an embankment into the house. But with the Mustang, I have no idea. Because the emergency brake is generally adjusted enough that you get a lot of tension there. And you can try to push the car and it won't move at all. But I don't know. I wish I had an answer. Even to this day, I had both cars inspected after the fact to see, was there a failure in the emergency brake? Did it skip out of gear? I mean, you know, in some manual transmissions, you can feel like you're in gear, but really be about halfway in between. I believe in one case, one car insurance policy paid for it, and the other was my parents' homeowner's insurance that paid for it. With the Mustang, it was very loud. It had Flowmaster 480 series on it. I mean, you could hear me pulling in the neighborhood half a mile away. We think, and I have no scientific method behind this, but we think that when you attempt to, say, start from second gear, rolling down a hill, pop the clutch, it'll turn the engine over and you can then start the car with the key in the on position. We think that it must have been about halfway in gear, and that the Lopey 373 gearing and the E3 cam that I had in there somehow turned over enough for it to make a couple grunts, is our best guess. I talked to the mechanic. They were puzzled by it. I'm still puzzled by it. I'm sure my parents are thrilled that I'm sharing this. My apologies, Mom and Dad. I know I've already apologized a million times, but such is life as a car addict.
We'd like to thank Avalon King for their continued support of the VINwiki YouTube channel. Obviously, I've installed it onto my Porsche 993, which one of our app users is going to win once we hit 1 million subscribers. I've got it on the LP640 and it's performed flawlessly in both cases. The cars are much easier to clean, the finish looks a lot better, and I've really been impressed with it. So we're going to do some more experimentation with the ceramic coating this month, but please do check out the link in the description below, enter the code VINwiki for a discount, and thank them for supporting your favorite YouTube channel.